It's not okay that he is left in this level of pain, that he's going to live a short life and it's going to be an uncomfortable, painful life. That's not okay. So my name's Rebecca Kelly. I have a son, Ryan, who has Down syndrome. He is very medically complex. So he had leukemia when he was 1 and he's had open heart surgery, cleft palate, chronic ear conditions, and most recently has been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. We'll get some berries, right? It's always the next thing, not the last thing. Chronic pain and infections and a couple of major surgeries to try and address some of those issues. People love Ryan. They meet Ryan and he's universally adored, even though he gives them very little back in terms of encouragement. Probably one of the nice things for him is that he knows he's awesome. He doesn't need you to tell him. So, yeah. He's somewhat verbal. He can talk, but mostly doesn't. He can't describe pain. If another child had his level of pain, they would be screaming and hysterical. He's a bit withdrawn and he's grinding his teeth. So often it's not taken nearly as seriously as it should be. By the time we turn up in the medical system, we're past the wait and see. This is urgent. It needs to be addressed right now. We go to emergency, and the difference between a good experience and a poor experience, 99% of the time it's attitude. Well, he's got Down syndrome. What do you expect? Oh, people like Ryan, they don't even feel pain, so don't worry about it. And we did hit people in the system we needed to deal with. Of course he's going to have a short life. Really? Only if you don't do your job properly. We talk about training and education, and I think that's really important. And part of that's exposure. Not just seeing them when they're at their sickest or having their hardest day, but actually realising that most of our lives are happy. You're going to get it. We love Ryan. We want him to have a good life. He does enjoy being alive. Just because you see him for this very miserable, very painful day doesn't mean that he doesn't have value and that he's not loved and part of his community and part of his family. Ryan and I would do the patient partner program here at UTAS. We would go in and talk to a group of medical students in 4th year and GPs, and universally they came out saying, wow, I learnt something. And really the biggest thing they learnt was he has value. Like, they came away from that saying, we've got to change this for Ryan. I can think of about 5 different families instantly who took their child to the GP, child's got a cold, oh, they'll be right, just fluids and rest, don't worry about it. Child's clearly getting sicker and sicker. Went to the emergency department, oh, they don't look that sick. Check their oxygen saturations, they're at 85%, which is terrible. Oh, that's normal for Down syndrome. Just go home. We had one child, a mum was telling me about, the child stopped walking and they took them to the doctor to see what was wrong, and we're told it's normal for Down syndrome. They're a bit lazy and they sometimes just can't be bothered walking. They just stop. And I think it took them maybe a week to finally get someone to actually do an X-ray, and the child had a broken leg. It's a terrifying thought of what happens when I'm not here, because the amount of work, the amount of skill and the amount of knowledge that it takes to keep him safe in the health system is enormous. And what happens when that's not there, when you don't have a person who can dedicate a lot of energy and time and wants to see this work? What happens to him when we get there?